All right, guys. Thank you for joining me tonight. As per usual, I do appreciate it. Lisa Bicknell, thank you for the 5x5. Dan Phillips, thank you for the 5x5. Carrie, thank you for the 17 by 76. Flown Grown. Adriana, thank you for the 5x5. Tracy, thank you for the 10 by 10. Tina Doby. Dan Phillips again, thank you for the 69 by 69. Appreciate it, guys. Holy shit, that flew by. Another friend, Johnny D. Melissa Ward. WTC, Jeep Girl, thank you for the 5x5. Kathy, Kevin, Fluster, Mary, Undead, Author, South Florida. Rems, thank you for the 5x5. Kay, thank you for the 5 versus 5, whatever. Kit, thank you for the 5x5. Bush Pig, The Warden, Mike, Forgiven, Beef and Chicken, Honesta, Colleen, Mercedes, Rev, Tanya? If I said that wrong, sorry. Rich, thank you for the 5x5. Overland, William, Ann, Jericho, Ace, Kathy, V8 Recycler, thank you for the 5x5. Kathy, thank you for the 19 by 13. Storm, Mr. Landfill, Maria, Randy, thank you for the 5x5. Thank you. What's going on? Randy, what's going on? Sorry. Ben, thank you for the 9 by 19. Okay. 9 by 19. Joel, Kurt, thank you for the 5x5. Joel, thank you for the 7 by 28. The Skydive, thank you for the 556 by 223. 1350, thank you for the 5x5. Enough already, thank you for the 5x5. Joel, thank you for the 17 by 76. Campus, Rodney, R. Frost, SD, Royal, Ozark Prepper, Scarlet, thank you for the 5x5. Chancellor, thank you for the 2x4. Where is the baby face? The I'll be shaved. I'll probably be shaved by tomorrow, or rather after this. Sorry. PNW Prepper, thank you for the 5x5. Lisa, thank you for the 5x5. Joe FW, thank you for the 5x5. All right, guys, let's get on with the show. That was about 3 minutes of 5x5s. AZ Watch, thank you for the 5x5. Length and width. And everybody else, thanks for joining me, and hello. All right, guys. So, as per usual, with all of this bullshit going on, we have a lot to cover. It's not going to get any. It's not going to get any better. Um, Things are only seemingly going to get worse. Though the release of the hostages the other day and today will say otherwise. I think Hamas is getting desperate because they're out of gas and they're out of water, even though they should have a stockpile of their own because they're military guys. Nonetheless, yeah, man, it's going to be a shit show for a little bit. So I was supposed to do, there it is, an update, but let's see what I can find because I do have a bunch of stuff saved, but I wanted to play catch up on here. So let's start with this update that came in about an hour ago. It says urgent update. Hamas warned that a ground invasion would reduce the likelihood of the hostages being released, according to Israeli official familiar with hostage negotiation, which are taking place mainly through Qatar. Egypt is also helping out with this negotiation of hostages as well. So they're trying to get everybody back before everybody's dead, kind of deal. I don't see if they're already giving hostages back. Listen, Hamas could pull some shit out of their ass and just start offing everybody as we speak. The fact that they're giving hostages back is a good thing. Um, yes, always getting worse is, you're right, is becoming redundant. I was thinking that the other day because every day is getting worse. And listen, let's just table this bullshit for a minute. Let's table this war bullshit for a minute. Um, but everything is getting worse. All of it. It's not even just the war. All of it's getting worse. It seems like even in the smaller cities or smaller towns, shit's starting to get bad there. Attitudes are getting worse. Divisiveness is getting worse. Drugs is out of control in major cities. Crime is running rampant. Stupidity is at an all-time high. So we're definitely um, seeing some shit there, all over the place, and everybody all over the place, guys. It's just bad. All right, let me know if you can still hear me because I am frozen on my screen. And angry time. And that's the other thing. Yes, there is too much to keep up with. The survival buzz. There's just way too much to keep up with. There's a lot going on. Um, how could you? How could you keep up? Like, I didn't realize that the Chinese sent over military vessels until yesterday. Right, 5x5. Thank you, Adriana. All right, I froze on my iPad, so I'm rebooting that now. But you guys are saying I can hear you, you can see me. All right, cool. I don't want to watch another commercial again. Please, no. All right, it was my iPad. So again, there's so much going on, and it's just everywhere. I mean, the financial system or banks are closing down left and right, and no one's really talking about it. Though it was stated in articles back in as far back as March of this year. So, and even last year they were talking about banks closing down. But this year alone, I think last year we saw 3,000. This year alone, we're on deck to see a little more than 3,000. Between 2017 and 2020, we saw 1,700 banks close down. So clearly, the numbers are growing each year. I'm going to talk about more of that later on the Angry Truth channel later tonight around 10:10. I usually try to get started by 10:05. But anyway, a lot is going on, guys, and it's impossible to catch it all. It really is. Anyway, update Iraq, Syria. Iranian backed militants from Iraq released footage of today's drone attack on the U.S. base Al Tanf Ruban in the southern Syria. I am butchering these names, so be it. I guess I should learn them, how to pronunciate them to sound more professional. I hope, I not I hope, but I think some of you guys saw this other video that's circulating all over the internet now, where a lady's being brought out of some facility, and the guy in Arabic is screaming, she's not a prisoner, she's for rape. Like, he actively said it in the open in front of this lady, and then they proceed to throw her in the trunk of a car. So, clearly, guys, I again, I'm taking more and more issues with people these days who are backing Palestine. Meanwhile, Palestine put themselves in this position. Granted, it doesn't help that Israel has been doing what they've been doing as well. But a lot of the shit that goes on in Palestine, especially with Hamas, Palestine put themselves in this position to have a group like that take over Gaza and some other parts of Palestine. So, when people keep siding with Palestine, I wish a lot of people would, and people do, like Dave Chappelle made it abundantly clear that he doesn't side with Hamas and their bullshit. But he also turned around and blamed Israel for their crap. So he stands in the middle, and of course, people took issue with what he was saying. Um, Again, you can't say free a country when a country has done it to themselves for a long time now. Anyway, with that being said, guys, there's propaganda on both sides. There's Israeli propaganda and there's Hamas propaganda. And then there's propaganda from other countries, other Muslim countries supporting Palestine. And then you have other countries that are supporting Israel. So the problem with all of this shit that we're reading, guys, is we don't know. This is what I'm reporting, if you will. This is what I'm researching. That's all it is. Because it's hard to believe any side 100%. You can't sit there. I mean, listen, you could sit there and be like, I stand by Israel or I stand by Palestine. Understood. But you cannot wholeheartedly 100% be all in. thinking that everybody's an angel. You can't do it. It's impossible. Especially, guys, when you have governments like Israel, Palestine, Russia, Syria, Iraq, Iran, Jordan, United States, UK, France, you name them, South Korea, North Korea, right? And these countries have their propaganda machine running all the time now, right? And then you have posturing, which is we're starting to see now with other countries moving their forces closer to the Israeli border or Jordan border or Egyptian border. You got ships off the coast with the Mediterranean Sea now. You got all of this shit going on, guys. And I think it's just posturing for the most part. I don't think we're going to go full nuclear. I don't see that happening because too many countries are calling for peace and peace talks and ceasefires. I can't see a lot of these countries calling for ceasefires and peace talks and then turn around and go, fuck it, we're launching a nuke. I just don't see it. Now, unless Iran does it or Syria does it, or one of their bombs go missing and a rogue group does it, that's an entirely different ballgame. That's an entirely different ballgame. But I do not see the lead countries launching nukes or lobbing nukes at one another. I don't see it. Unless some crazy shit happens between Germany and Russia, and yes, I'm still on that. Unless something happens between those two, I don't see it happening at all. Not at all, but at least not now. I mean, the shit is changing from day to day, guys, so we don't know. But I could sit here and comfortably say we probably won't see, at the very least, a nuclear attack this year, but we will see some ramped up shit, right? And Kerry John, there was an article, not an article, I think there was a statement on Instagram, maybe, talking about how the Ukraine war disappeared from the news. Of course it did, because nobody wants to nobody wants to hear what's going on in Ukraine. They've been dragging that bullshit out. Prepping in the burbs. Do I think Iran will pop off? I think they will eventually. I just don't know when, because the threats that they've been spewing for the last 2 weeks now, and nothing's happened, right? And I mean, even Israel is backing off on invading Gaza. Though I read one article, stating that they were backing off because they want to wait till all the hostages are safe and sound, and then they're going to go in. But hopefully by then, cooler heads would prevail, and they would be like, all right, listen, maybe we won't go ground in, maybe we'll stop bombing them, and let's work something out. Hopefully. Now, Hezbollah has been attacking Israeli military facilities, and if I'm not mistaken, they've also been bombing American targets as well, which, what else is new? So Israel Defense Minister Gallant at the shores outside Gaza says, we are thoroughly preparing for the next stage. This will be a deadly attack and an intricate one, in the air, at sea, and on land. This is from the Israeli Defense Minister. In the army, they are pressing to launch a ground maneuver at any cost. This is the problem, because this is what I'm starting to see. I'm starting to see that Israel is at whatever it costs for their soldiers to attack Gaza. It seems more. It seems like they're overdoing it. They're playing the woe is me card, and they're overdoing the woe is me card, if that makes any sense. The USS Gerald Ford carrier strike group was spotted moving at speeds in the waters west of Cyprus on October 23rd. That's today. The flotilla was moving away from its former position 500 kilometers from the coast of Israel. So it's moving away from Israel. Where the fuck's it going? And it's headed west. So it might be going back over here. Who knows? Hamas today, supposedly this came out earlier today. Hamas will today release 50 hostages who have dual citizenship. I guess that's a good thing. So Hamas is starting to release hostages. Red Cross is there taking the hostages in, making sure they're well, giving them coffee and cocoa, whatever the fuck Red Cross does. It's weird to see Red Cross in the middle of this shit. It really does. And it's like, you're in like a hot zone, and you got these Red Cross nerds in there, like, putting their arms around and blankets and shit and giving them hot cocoa. I'm like, what kind of fucking bullshit is this? Whatever. I didn't know that. I did not know Red Cross was allowed in war zones until like the first two hostages were released. U.S. sends Marines general, and other senior officers to advise the IDF on preparing for Gaza incursion. So apparently that's going to happen, but they are really dragging their feet about it. The White House, we are working around the clock to find a location of the hostages in Gaza and get them released. There's a direct link between militia targeting us and the Revolutionary Guards. That's the White House saying this. So the White House, listen, they're going to keep throwing this shit back and forth with Iran. Who the fuck knows? Um, I'm waiting for Iran to do something out of pocket, like, I mean, something really bad. The back and forth threat with the Iranian foreign minister, he's going to keep talking that shit. But either they're talking that shit or they're gearing up for him to do something. Purposeful Prepper, thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. And that's the thing. Thank you, Purposeful Prepper, for saying that. Nothing at this point is going to surprise me. Really not, unless an alien attack and like 20-foot, Rosie O'Donnell's come off of there fucking screaming about Twinkies and cupcakes and fucking, oh, I want to eat you. Like, unless that happens, that's the only thing that would surprise me. Other than that, guys, there's nothing right now that can surprise me. No nuclear device going off, no nuclear attack. South Korea making a move on North Korea, North Korea making a move on South Korea, which they're thinking about. China making a move on Taiwan, right? The Azerbaijani making a move on Armenia. None of that's going to surprise me. None of it. It is what it is. We just have to wait and see how bad that's going to get over here. And if it goes to... Listen, here's the one thing about... I'm starting to see a pattern, and I'm hoping this pattern stays. If there is an all-out nuclear attack, there's going to be one that's going to go off that's going to catch everybody off guard. That right there is the red flag or the green light for everybody to get out of the cities, like, fast. Because once a nuke goes off, guys, it's on. It doesn't matter where it goes or who it hits, it is on. And once that happens, start getting moving. Go somewhere, find shelter, get the hell out of Dodge. But up until then, I don't see much but more posturing, more talking, and more lobbing of drones and missiles. So again, I just said this, U.S. continues to increase force posture. IKE carrier strike group redirected to the Middle East. I don't know what this is. THAAD, Ballistic Missile Defense Battery, and Patriot Missile Battalions deployed. Prepare to deploy orders to any given undisclosed number of U.S. forces. So clearly they're gearing up. U.S. will send more forces to the Middle East, White House spokesman John Kirby said. The president is adding additional military forces to the region, and more forces will be coming in days and weeks ahead to try to deter any actors from widening or deepening this conflict. And the hypocrisy with that statement is insane, because he's like, we're adding additional forces to keep other people from getting in and or widening, but you're doing the very same thing you're trying to stop happen. That is a hypocritical statement if I ever heard of one. I've never heard of such a thing. Well, we're going to make sure no one else gets in there and this thing doesn't widen. Meanwhile, we're going to throw 12,000 troops into this whole thing. And if I'm not mistaken, currently there are about 12,000 troops in the region. Nothing says 12,000 troops like a fuck you like that to the other people, to the other countries in that area. That is the biggest fuck you ever heard. Because you're telling people, you better not do this or else we're going to... Anyway, it's a shit show, guys. This is like one giant circus at this point. And I just wake up every morning looking at the news going, what event is going to happen now? It's just a three-ring circus at this point. That's all it is. So the UK Prime Minister Sunak said Putin will fail and so will Hamas. I don't know what that was in regards to. But he just made this out-of-pocket comment. And I think That comment is him backing Iran, who Iran is backing Hamas, which I find it to be interesting. The Russians are trying to distance themselves from this, but they seem closer to this than they're actually portraying. All right, so North Korea blames the Israel-Palestinian conflict entirely on the United States, because of course Kim Jong Fatty has to throw his 2 cents into this. The Middle East conflict was a tragedy created entirely by the United States. The United States has only sided with Israel in the conflict. This is coming from, if I'm not mistaken, some foreign minister in North Korea. The U.S. has turned a blind eye to Israel, its illegal occupation of Palestine territories, continuously armed assault, civilian casualties, and the expansion of Jewish settlements. Again, Palestine can fight those people off any time they want, but they don't, because a lot of the land that was taken by the Jews, if you will, were not so much up for grabs. They were just abandoned, and the Jews felt right to settle there. Palestinian soldiers could have easily moved into those settlements and erased those people from existence, but they didn't. So, of course, Israel, numerous times, especially before settling, had made deals with Palestine. The Palestinian people didn't like it. This Palestinian government was sort of okay with it, but not really. There's a lot more to this Palestine shit than free Palestine. And the more, or the longer this shit goes on, the more I learn. The more I knew, the more I'm reminded, and the more I learn. The U.S. is the ringleader in the Middle East situation, the entire Middle East situation, apparently. Massive battles of slaughters are intensifying in the Middle East due to the bias and intentional instigation of the United States. Apparently, well, we do instigate a lot of shit. That's without saying. I hate to agree with this asshole, but he is right. So, guys, pro-Palestinian protests in Bosnia, and I cannot pronounce this country, but I'm going to try to butcher it my best. Herzegovina. Herzegovina. I'm pretty sure I fucked that up. But pro-Palestinian protests, guys, are everywhere. They are at an all-time high. I've never seen... The one in London was bad. That was, what, 1,100 people? I don't know what people are looking at, but there are a lot of Muslims around the world. And there was, in fact, guys, I think I told you guys this last week, there was, in fact, a study talking about how America, UK, France, Germany, our birth rate is extremely low because we have pussified this country so much and coddled kids for so long that less couples are having kids because they're trying to live out their life, live their best life. So meanwhile, while they're doing that, and they're also training their kids how to be the opposite sex, our birth rate here in the UK are extremely astonishingly low. That being said, if you look at Muslim countries, they're dropping kids like it was going out of style. I mean, their average kid rate is 4.6 or 4.3 per household. In the United States, the average right now is 1.6 kids or 2 kids or something like that. The Muslim nation are having kids because they're probably bored, and I don't know why, but they're having an astonishing amount of kids. Americanized Muslims are not. Their rate is actually around 2 to 3 versus the 4. So their rate is dropping here in this country because they're Americanized. Todd Smith, thank you for the donation. Appreciate it. Todd Smith, that's a good question, but I'm seeing a pattern here, and I don't think it's going to turn into the riots of 2020. We're going to see more attacks on personal people, on one-on-ones, if you will. That being said, let you guys know now, there's a pro-Palestinian rally in Washington, D.C., November 4th. Yes. Before you even ask the question, I'm already going to answer it. Yes. I'm absolutely going to go there, and it should be fun because they're going to be, hopefully, an equal amount, if not just a few people, bantering with that group, with the pro-Palestinian protest. It's called a March on Washington, a March on D.C., or Palestinian March on D.C., something to that effect. But it is November 4th. So yes, that should be fun. We shall fucking run from bottles and getting yelled at once again. Or maybe flashbangs will go off by my head and tear gas. Whatever the case is, this should be a fun deal. So the Palestinian protests are, guys, they're everywhere. There was another one in Brooklyn the other day that got a little out of hand. But in every country, guys, we're seeing more and more pro-Palestinian protests, and each one is bigger than the last. So go figure that. So, guys, if you don't mind, do me the favor, hit the thumbs up or the thumbs down, whatever floats your boat. It's all the same, just helps out with the algorithm. And whenever you go on another YouTuber's channel, do yourself a favor, like and subscribe to their shit because, you know, it helps out. Sorry. So, anyway, guys, all hospitals in Gaza Strip have run out of fuel in the total, right? Due to the strikes and fuel shortage, 12 hospitals and 32 medical centers are out of order. Again, this is going to be ongoing. I know that Hamas is asking for fuel, so they're releasing more hostages, hence the 50 hostages that they're looking to release soon. Israel National Security Minister, God, these people and their fucking names. Why can't they have regular names like Todd and John? Anyway, Israeli National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir was spotted distributing weapons to Israeli civilians. Now, here's the crazy shit about Israel and the stupidity of Israel and Israelis for not fighting for their right to own guns or have them on them at all times. You are surrounded by hostile countries all the time. You got people who want to kill you on a daily basis. Why wouldn't you arm your citizens 24/7? I don't get it. But anyway, they were handing out weapons. They handed out 496. Sorry, reverse that. Ben-Gvir said 496 reserve units have been created since the beginning of the war. And then they're arming civilians so that they can get into the mix if they have to again. I don't see Hamas rolling into Israel and pulling that shit off. You can only do it once. Indian police detained students protesting against Israel in front of the Israeli consulate or embassy in New Delhi. The last Gaza toll, that was as of this morning, 5,000 killed, including 2,000 kids and 1,100 women. I hate when they do that. I hate when they break it up that way, when they go 2,000 kids and 1,100 women, because they want you to feel sorry. It's why they throw the women in there and why they throw the kids in there. What about the men? How many fucking men died? I mean, I guess I could figure out if I did the math, which I'm bad at, but that's the rest are men. But why not just mention men? Why not break it down completely? Women and kids, guys, is to play and pull at your heartstrings. That's all it is. It's a fucking scam, dude. So Biden fears the war in the Middle East will widen. Top U.S. officials tell us the threat of a war widening from the Gaza Strip are real and rising, forcing the Pentagon to put more U.S. forces on higher alert for quick deployment and rush additional weapon systems to the region. Now, they are amassing all the troops there, and if they have to hop to it, they will. But they seemingly going to send more. If they're sending more, and they already have 12,000 there, that means the shit's gonna pop off soon, or it's when it does pop off, it's gonna pop off really bad. Sorry. Hamas vows to kill and capture all Israeli soldiers if they enter Gaza. Empty promises. Though I did see dead president, I'm gonna tell you right now, if Hamas surrounds me, I'm putting a bullet in my head. There is no way they're going to torture me. Because I know what they're going to do, man. Especially if you're a dude, they're cutting your dick off. No guy wants to die without his dick. I'd rather die without a brain. And I don't have much brains left, but I'd rather die without a brain than a dick. Excuse me. Our favorite climate change warrior, Greta Thunberg, name will be removed from all textbooks in Israel after her words of support for Palestine. Apparently, she had a sign that just said Free Palestine. Not sure if she supports Hamas, but she said Free Palestine. And now they are removing all books with her name, which is stupid. I, I find, guys, erasing people because you don't like them is stupid and childish. You're like, well, they said we're stupid. We're going to remove them from all the books. Grow the fuck up. She's a child, still a child, actually. And to react that way and remove her name from all the books, it's just dumb. It's just grow up. And this is a longer Israeli Educational Ministry said it will remove any reference to the climate activist Greta Thunberg from school's curriculum after she published a post over the weekend holding an anti-Israeli sign reading "Stand with Gaza." That is not an well, it is an anti-Israeli sign. It's not anti-Semitic, but again, she's a moron. She's about as stupid as the day is long. And I know that they said she's like autistic or some shit. Who cares? You're not going to tell me she's autistic so I can feel sorry for her. I'm like, oh my God, she's autistic. You go, girl. Get the fuck out of here. Take your autistic ass and go fucking play cards or bingo or watch Rain Man, her fucking hero, some shit. I don't know. Navy destroyers shot down missiles and drones over 9 hours. The U.S. Navy destroyer shot down, I think it was the Carney or something like that. Navy destroyers shot down multiple drones and cruise missiles off the coast of Yemen this week. Several more than that, the Navy stated the other day. It is the Carney. Yes, on Wednesday, the USS Carney and Arleigh Burke class guided missile destroyer. If I mispronounce that, I'm sorry. Arleigh, right? It has to be Arleigh. Arleigh Burke class guided missile destroyer opened on 4 cruise missiles and 15 airborne drones for 9 hours, far longer than the military first said. Initially, the Pentagon said that the engagement only featured 3 missiles and several drones. Now it was way more than that. So the military has been engaging and protecting Israel, but it's still engaging. As per CNN, citing an American official familiar with the matter, the path and trajectory of the missiles had then been en route to Israel. The missiles were fired by the Houthi rebels in Yemen, according to the Department of Defense, and would be the first attempt by any group in Yemen to strike at Israel in the aftermath of October 7th terror attacks by Hamas 2 weeks ago. So, of course, the Iranian National Guard Deputy Commander Ali Fadavi, if necessary, we will fire missiles directly at Hayaf, if I'm saying that right, Hayaf. Senator Majority Leader Mitch McConnell. There is an axis of evil in the world. No shit. Now here he goes, dragging other countries that don't need to be dragged into this shit. China, Russia, North Korea, and Iran. We need to stand up to the axis of evil, not to try to boost business with them. That term, axis of evil, is a propaganda language. When it was first mentioned when I was a kid, I immediately identified it after watching something about propaganda. That is propaganda language when they talk about the axis of evil. The axis of evil would have been the Nazi regime, the Reich. That's what it would have been. Not like these other countries just being dicks towards us and us being dicks towards them. Nonetheless, it's every time I see that phrase, axis of evil, I'm like, it's just bullshit. It's to get us on board with their bullshit war. In case this is not bullshit, but I'm just saying, whenever you hear it, it's always in reference to some fucking bullshit war. The U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin said Israel impending ground invasion into Gaza can be more difficult than the 9-month assault on the U.S.-led ISIS in Mosul. And of course, everybody knows this, and everybody knows that this ground war in Gaza could last up to a year, if not longer. So 2 hostages were released. 59-year-old Judith Raanan and 18-year-old daughter Natalie Raanan were abducted by Hamas. They were released the other day. So they're releasing more hostages. I think hopefully by tomorrow there'll be 50 more released. Supposedly there's over 200. There's like 205 or something like that. 2 were released yesterday, the day before yesterday. 2 were released today. 50 more will be released hopefully tomorrow. Another failed launch by Hamas rockets with more than 200 wounded and 12 dead. They keep on killing their own. I'm sorry. It's just the way the article is written. They keep on killing their own people with their own rockets. Hamas murdered. Okay, so this is a rumor. The Hamas murderers did the worst things they can imagine to their victims in southern Israel. They gouged out people's eyes. They cut a pregnant woman's stomach open. They tied parents and children to one another and set them on fire. This is evil we're dealing with. Now, the only reason why I said rumor because someone stated that, but I couldn't find anything else on it, and I couldn't find any photos of it. That's why I said it's rumor. I'm pretty sure it's true, but I don't want to sit here and tell you guys it's true if it's not. All right, guys, so 6 Chinese warships operating in the Middle East during the past week. The 44th Naval Escort Task Force has been in regular activity in the area since May. Last week, the Chinese conducted a joint exercise with Omani Navy during the first visit to Oman. After the successful completion of the exercise in Oman, the Chinese Naval Task Force arrived at port in Kuwait as planned on the morning of October 13th. The Chinese Navy will pay a 5-day goodwill visit to Kuwait. That's bullshit, but whatever. And they're always going to tell you guys at the last possible minute, oh, wait, they were planning to come here. Look at our paperwork. You could doctor that paperwork and backdate it to whatever date you want to date it to make us believe that, oh, this is already in the making. Get the fuck out of here. What do we look stupid? There are stupid people out there. That was a rhetorical question. But we are not stupid. We are onto that bullshit. Shit. Fuck. Damn it. Anyway, sorry. Fucking left important paperwork at the Target, but Target security at 181st, he said they had my paperwork. So, very good. Let's see, where else we're going to go with this. And the Chinese military defense officially confirmed the presence of 6 warships in the Middle East. The task force consists of guided missile destroyer, a frigate, and an integrated supply ship that showcases Chinese military presence in the Middle East. This is new. The BLM organization has been promoting the distribution of Palestinian and anti-Israel education material in schools in the past week. Groups belonging to the organization expressed open support for the Palestinians following the Hamas attack on Israel. The loss of Palestinian Israeli lives is a direct result of decades of Israel settlers colonizing and land depression, occupation, siege, apartheid, and attempted genocide of millions of Palestinians. The attempted genocides of millions of Palestinians versus a country the size of Jersey. Palestine is a lot bigger. Palestine's not a country, it's a state. Nonetheless, it's bigger than Israel. I don't understand why liberals was siding with Black Lives Matter. A lot of liberals right now, guys, are tearing each other apart over this, which is a awesome thing. It's awesome to look at. Nonetheless, wait, is Palestine? Maybe I might have misspoken about Palestine size. Anyway, now BLM is on the outs. Now keep in mind, guys, 2 years ago, people were siding with BLM. These same people were donating to BLM. These same Jewish organizations were donating to BLM. They were like, you people need to be free and all this other bullshit. And just like any other liberal group, they turned on it. They turned on one another. You don't follow a group like BLM just because they're supporting Black lives. It doesn't work that way. And I am not a smart man, but I'm smart enough to know not to follow a group like that. People often, guys, want to give the benefit of the doubt. When you look at these people, you look at their behavior, you look at their speech pattern, you look at what they're saying, and you're like, these people are complete fucking idiots. But we're going to give them millions of dollars anyway, because why not? And then you come to find out that they support Palestine and Hamas's actions. As I heard, one BLM member was supporting Hamas's actions. So now there you go, a slap in the face, a punch in the dick, because you look like an asshole for supporting their group you should have never supported. Never. London reports that anti-Semitic hate crimes have gone up 1,300%. 1,353% to be exact, since the Hamas attack. There was a Jewish guy getting his shit kicked out of him on Instagram. I don't know where the hell it was. But yeah, he was getting his ass handed to him. And he was with a couple other Jews, but they were outnumbered. Like I said, guys, more Muslim protesters or Palestinian protesters than you'll have Jews any given day of the week. Old days, I'll be moving out of the city, but not far. I'll probably be like right outside the city line. So, a testimony from BBC World correspondent. I don't know these fucking names. Again, what is up with these names? I saw insubscribable raw footage of Hamas massacre along with 100 other international journalists provided by Israeli authorities. Here's the notes I took. This is from BBC World correspondent Jatam Kofino. If I butchered his name, so be it. Hamas terrorist screaming Allahu Akbar as he frantically tries to behead a dead man with a shovel. Father and two sons, roughly 7 and 9, running for their lives in their underwears into what appears to be a bomb shelter with an open entrance. A Hamas terrorist throws a hand grenade in the shelter, killing the father, badly injuring the two sons who ran back into the house. The sons are screaming for their dads, saying that they're going to die. Hamas terrorist casually and calmly takes a bottle of water from the family's fridge and drinks it in front of the kids as the two boys weep. Hamas terrorist enters a house where a small girl is seen hiding under the table. After some talking back and forth, they shoot and kill her as she hides under the table. Hard to say how old she was, but she looked to be 7 or 9. These are the photos that they're showing the journalists. Again, I haven't seen any of these photos, but whatever. Hamas terrorists are setting fires to a house in Kibbutz. A beheaded Israeli soldier. I heard about that one, and if I'm not mistaken, I think I saw the photo of that one. A photo of a dead baby and a child burnt beyond recognition. Scores of dead people on the road after Hamas executed them in their cars. I've seen that video. Hamas terrorists calling his parents. Hamas terrorists calling his parents. I killed 10 Jews with my own hands. I'm using the dead Jews woman's phone to call you now. The mother says, may God protect you. So many of these scenes, so many more of these scenes, but I hope you get the gist. The authorities asked if not to film the screening out of respect for the relatives of the Israeli victims. If anyone wants to doubt what happened, I truly don't know what else to say anymore. The problem with it, guys, is again, we're being told what he's seeing. We don't know what he's seeing. He could be making this up, though I am inclined to believe him because I've seen 2 or 3 of these photos myself. So, but yes, people are going to doubt it. That's just the bottom line. There are people like us who are not going to take what you tell us for face value, being that everybody lies. So, update on the hospital bombing. After nearly a week, the British intelligence service says that the explosion in the hospital in Gaza was caused by a Palestinian rocket. Now, there's been a lot of discrepancies about this rocket attack in the hospital, at the hospital. Some people are saying it went off in a parking garage and only like 3 or 4 people died. And then you have other people, including these intelligence agencies, saying that it hit the hospital directly. So, two different stories, guys. And again, this is why we can't believe everything we are told, because we don't know. We just don't know. Ground operations, the IDF foreign media spokesperson, Lieutenant Colonel Korkus, saying that the ground operation is still in effect. If Hamas returns all Israeli abductees and prisoners and surrenders unconditionally, the war will end. So he is stating, and that's a good thing. So again, the foreign media spokesperson, a lieutenant colonel, said if Hamas returns all Israeli abductees and prisoners, that's everybody else, surrenders unconditionally. Sorry, this will end the war. Conricos also said that if Hamas does not act this way, Israel will be forced to enter Gaza and do it ourselves. I have this feeling, guys, that if Israel goes into Gaza, it's going to turn into a shit show. And a lot of hostages are going to die. No shit. I'm going to try to confirm that now. Thank you for that, Prepper Revelator. My buddy just told me that Putin had a cardiac arrest, or went into cardiac arrest. Sorry. But I'm going to look that up in a couple minutes. South Korea military, guys, will beef up defense capabilities against North Korea. North Korea's evolving nuclear and missile threat and asymmetric warfare tactics, the army said. North Korea enhanced its nuclear and missile capabilities, and Hamas' surprise attack on Israel reminds us that North Korea could provoke us at any moment. Very good. The United States Air Force heavy transport aircraft arrived today at somebody's military base in Athens. The Pentagon will use the air base in Athens for potential evacuation from combat zones in the Middle East in case it further escalates to where it's going right now. Turkey has told leaders of Hamas, Ismail, whatever, to leave the country because we are unwilling to appear to still protect Hamas after the group's killing of Israeli civilians. So Turkey's out on this. That's pretty good. At least they're not siding with Israel. They're just saying we don't want to look like we're protecting your ass. And there was a Hamas leader, his son, matter of fact. He was on Fox News. Then he had it was a good interview. You got to find the interview. But in the interview, he was saying that Hamas has to be taken out. Hamas is evil. So, and this is coming from the guy's son. Now, yes, one can argue when it comes out of your son's mouth, it can be some bitter bullshit. That is undoubtedly true. Your son could hate you at that moment, and your son could hate you at that moment. Yes, so it seems to be true. This was 7 hours ago. 7 hours ago. But Putin suffered a cardiac arrest, and he was revived. Everybody said that he looked like shit. What I think they're doing with Putin every time he talks is they're he probably looks like shit behind the scene. Big Chap, thank you for the donation. Again with the chair, huh? But I think they're giving him little doses of adrenaline so that he could speak, and when he's done speaking, he gets off the stage and he looks like shit. But apparently he suffered a cardiac arrest. He was found on the floor and he was resuscitated. So I remember about a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago now, shit. People were pointing out how sick he looked. And in fact, some people even pointed out some of his speeches, or when not his speeches, when he's waving and walking by, some shit like that, that he that it was like his body double. So there's a lot to be said, guys, because interestingly enough, someone pointed it out again about a week or two ago, how sick he looked in his eyes. And when you looked at it, you could see it. You're like, yeah, something looks off about him. And then this happens like 2-3 weeks later. So much for conspiracy theorists being wrong. But anyway, this is not necessarily a good thing. A lot of people are like, oh, man, Putin had a heart attack. If he dies, the guy that's behind him is 1,000 times worse. I 1,000% guarantee it. That guy behind Putin, and I forgot his name, is probably Vladimir or Yochevich or some fucked up Russian name. But whatever it is, that guy behind him is fucking bad. Bad news. You don't want this dude stepping to the plate. Unfortunately, this man is going to probably die, I'm going to say, in the next couple of weeks, depending on how bad this cardiac arrest episode was. But he is not going to last a year. I'd be surprised if he lasts a year. So, for a lot of people that don't, wait a minute. Pakistan, so Pakistan tested a long-range ballistic missile that goes 2,200 kilometers and can carry conventional and nuclear warheads. Why is everybody testing their shit as this is going on? As if before they had all the time in the world to test anything they wanted, and as this is going on, they're like, you know what, guys? While shit is popping off in the Middle East, let's go and test our long-range missiles. So now they got long-range missiles that can carry both. Canada is withdrawing 41 of its diplomats from India after a incident that happened in Canada where an Indian not politician, Indian diplomat was killed. So guys went in there. They were hired to kill this man. They were killed. The Indian government is blaming Canada for letting it happen, and now Canada is pulling out their 41 diplomats. Such is life. So before we go off the air, we got a couple minutes. Hamas terrorists are getting high on a drug called epinephrine. No, just kidding. They're getting high on a drug called Captagon. Sorry. Captagon, which is a synthetic amphetamine style stimulant. They were found in the pockets of dead and captured terrorists after the invasion of the Jewish state on October 7th. The drug, also known as the drug of jihad, or cocaine for the poor, allows the jihadists to commit atrocities with a calm demeanor while keeping them alert and suppressing their appetite. So once I heard about this drug, guys, I knew this was because there's been a discrepancy in how Hamas soldiers are behaving. You got Hamas soldiers that are going super savage, and you got other Hamas soldiers who were protecting the hostages. So there were two sides. I did see a video of a Hamas soldier pulling a lady away, and the way it was being translated, and he was like, we're not going to do this here, or we're not going to do this to this one. Something to that effect. And the other guy just looked at him and walked away. So once I saw that the reaction or the different temperaments in evil acts, and not acts of kindness, but like not evil acts, I was like, these guys are taking something. They have to be. What else would be the discrepancy in how they're behaving? It's not like the Marines or the Army or National Guards. They all act as a unit and they all act the same. They grab people, they lock them up, they throw them on a bus. These guys are behaving in different manners, and they're all across the board in the way that they're treating prisoners. They're either not raping them and they're taking care of them, or they're raping them and beheading them, and not in that order. 100 Black, thank you for the donation, man. I appreciate it. But yeah, thank you for the donation, 100 Black. Appreciate it. So, Captagon was first produced in Germany in the 60s to help treat attention deficit disorder, narcolepsy, and depression. The addictive stimulant gained notoriety in 2015 when ISIS terrorists used it to suppress fear before carrying out their attacks. Imagine that. Taking some shit and be like, yo, you could take that and throw yourself out of a plane. You don't have to second guess it. Snort that shit, out the plane you go. It has since been produced in Lebanon and Syria, which distributes it widely. So the bloodthirsty terrorists are stating that the bloodthirsty terrorists are high on a powerful stimulant dubbed the poor man's cocaine, which they launched their surprise attack on Israel. So it's the equivalent of smacking yourself in the face and yelling, "Get some!" And 5-hour energy drinks with Monster and Red Bull mixed together. It's Probably what it is. Except for it doesn't give you the jitters. I don't know if it gives you the jitters or not. I'm just assuming it doesn't. But who knows? Yes, guys, the shit show continues. Listen, saying it's going to get worse is stupid. We know it's going to get worse. It's not going to get better anytime soon. We're going to see more divisive shit as the months, weeks, and days go by. People are tired of the anti Semitic rhetoric. People are tired of the anti Palestinian rhetoric. That's not a thing, but whatever. And we're going to see more attacks. There seem to be, they look like white kids. I don't know if they were Jewish or not. They beat up on a Palestinian guy or a Middle Eastern guy here in New York. I think it was in Queens. They beat up some fucking Muslim dude. And then there was a Muslim guy that punched a Jewish lady in the face because she was a Jew. So, and now Jews are really sensitive to this whole thing. You can't make any comments like, stop being cheap. What are you, Jewish? You know, like you say that, then they all start crying and shit. Why would you say that? You're anti-Semitic. What's her name? Blossom, a week ago, made a statement. So SNL made fun of her. And, you know, they made fun of her and her giant fucking nose. So, of course, the chick from Blossom, she goes, I couldn't understand why they were making fun of me. You know, they were making fun of my Jewish nose. I'm like, no, lady. They were making fun of your giant honker on your face. Had nothing to do with you being Jewish. Had you doing a fucking nose that if you took one breath in, oxygen in the room wouldn't be available. You would kill everybody in the room with that nose. But instead, she took it as they were making a slight at her Jewish nose. Now, I know somebody in the comment section was like, you don't know the Jewish history. I do. Hitler had a schematic of a Jew. And on that schematic, it was a side profile of a Jewish man and a Jewish woman, and the nose was the fucking was the that's how you identify a Jew in the street. German soldiers walking down the street singing German music songs and eating Wiener Schnitzels and shit, and he goes Jewish nose, and he runs over there, locks him up, and fucking throws him in jail. But this chick, she found it to be super offensive. I'm like, yo, lady, yes, Mayim Balkia, whatever the fucking name is, who cares? Blossom, because I can't pronounce her name, and I keep forgetting how to pronounce it. I just say Blossom. But anyway, she's got a giant nose, man. She would fucking ruin a Coke party in a minute. You see her nose walking into a room at a Coke party, you're like, fuck! Don't sneeze and don't inhale. Because she inhales, all the Coke is gone. If she sneezes, all the Coke is everywhere. But again, has nothing to do with her Jewish nose. It just has to, because I know plenty of Jews who do not have noses like that. But she sat there and she made it an anti-Semitic thing. And SNL, I don't think they apologized. I didn't see an apology come from them. But she was mad about that. She was like, I don't understand. I was so confused. Bitch, because you don't have a sense of humor. As it comes down to, you have a very poor sense of humor. Hence your poor, shitty shows. You know, and then she wants to redo Blossom and make it more serious and more with the times. So what are you going to do? Have a non-binary fucking asshole in your show? Get the fuck out of here. You and your stupid nose. The fucking nose has a name and it's called Harold. It's so goddamn big. I've never seen a fucking nose like that. But yet she made it an anti-Semitic nose thing. She was like, they're talking about my Jewish heritage. Your giant honker over nose is not a Jewish heritage. It's a big fucking nose. That's all it is, man. My God. Yes, nostril dumbass. Such a... I mean, like, again, she made it about being Jewish. I'm like, yo, again, the Jews playing the woe is me card. Any chance they get, they'll play it. You know? It's just, what the fuck? She walks into the room and everybody starts fucking crying. Like, oh my God, my cocaine is gone. Guys, do me a favor. Hit the thumbs up or the thumbs down. Yeah, she's a human vacuum cleaner. Right? If somebody's attacking her in a room, if she takes one breath in, she'll kill the person in the room because he'll die of no oxygen and she'll be alive because she has all the oxygen. Right? So hit the thumbs up or the thumbs down, whatever floats your boat. I don't care. If you didn't like my comment about Blossom, whatever. Just give me a thumbs down. Who cares? It's all the fucking same. People are being so cunty lately for no reason. I think people want to be upset. I think people wake up in the morning and they're like, how the fuck can I be pissed off today? What can I be mad about? Blossom's nose. I don't like the way SNL made fun of her. It's like, let it go, man. Seriously. You know, Dave Chappelle made an honest statement All he said is that he don't think people should be fired for standing with Palestine or making pro-Palestinian remarks. I agree. That's what free speech is. We can't, guys. We can't argue about free speech, and then when it happens and it doesn't happen in our favor, we turn around and go fire them. We can't do that. That's what free speech is, man. That's what it looks like. And you can't be one sided about it. I can't be mad at a guy with a fucking sheet over his head yelling niggers and niggers and spics and niggers and spics and coons and kikes, dragging people. He can't, I don't care. He can stand there in the corner and yell that shit. That's what free speech is. Yes, there are consequences with free speech, but nonetheless, that's what it is. And I know a lot of conservatives are mad about pro-Palestinian marches. It's free speech. You can't yell at it one way or the other. You just can't, because then you sound like the left. Finley the dog. No. She's very, ugh, bland. Like her character Blossom, bland. Ugh, no fun. She just looks like a fucking bore. Doesn't look like anything fun. And anyway, her nose would fucking kill me. So there's that. Anyway, guys, that being said, I'm gonna head over to the Angry Truth channel as we are out of time, if you will. Not that we're out of time, but I want to get ready for. No, I got to edit a video after this, after the Angry Truth. So I'm gonna head over to the Angry Truth, guys. I'm going to try to do Thursday night. If not, it'll be Friday night because I'm back at work. I have to move shit around. I was gonna have a live stream tomorrow night, but I was asked to work tomorrow night, so that's why I did it tonight. So yeah, I should be good to go Friday, unless there's overtime. No, Thursday. I should be good Thursday, unless there's overtime. Overtime is king, guys. Overtime is going to displace this shit big time. Nonetheless, guys, I will see some of you guys at the Angry Truth. If not, I'll see the rest of you guys Thursday night for the doubleheader as well. Other than that, guys, thank you for watching, and I will see some of you guys in a few minutes.